Hello and welcome to the December 2025 Cards of the Magi reading. This is the last month of 2025. So I'm excited to share what and how we are ending this big year of changes and transitions of 2025. So without further ado, I'm Chloe Pedalino, and let's get into this reading for the month of December 2025. First off, we're going to look at the Two of Clubs here. Now, the Two of Clubs is in what's called the long range position. And the Two of Clubs is really about a coming together of the minds. Twos are about partnership and union, and clubs are of the mind and mental pursuits. So, this is indicating in this month of December that there's going to be a lot of discussion. It could be potential partnerships amongst communication, could be partnerships and coming together in some sort of the mental field, whether that be teaching, writing, something to that effect. It could mean that you're having a lot of good conversations with people in the month of December as well. You could be having business meetings or discussions. However, do be aware of arguments because the Two of Clubs can also mean a battle of the minds in some ways. So sometimes those conversations look less like conversations and more like conflicts or arguments. Now, especially because this is the holiday season in many places, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Boxing Day or whatever it may be, there's a lot of getting together and gathering of friends, loved ones, family members. So do keep an eye on this potential for arguments during the holiday season. Maybe lean into a little bit more cooperation and just being aware that maybe avoid topics that you know are good lead to conflict or confrontation and stay on some other sorts of topics that could lead to less conflict. There's, though, this desire to share your thoughts with others, to be in discussion, and you're going to be in situations where you're going to be wanting to actually develop harmonious communication with others. You're going to also have the ability to be sharing your thoughts and ideas with others, even those who might kind of oppose your thoughts. So you're really going to be tapping into this ability to discuss, to communicate, and to connect with others related to the mental fields during this time. There also is the potential for you to have a little bit of fear about being alone. And sometimes that comes up during the holidays too. So know that if you're experiencing that, that's okay. It's kind of normal. And that could be a possibility during this period of time when the Two of Clubs is in this long range position. The affirmation for the Two of Clubs is I am learning to have harmonious communication with others. I am transforming arguing into smooth communication. Next, we scoot over to the Five of Clubs. Now, the Five of Clubs here is in what's called Pluto position. And the Pluto position is something that we must overcome in order to achieve the result card, which here is the Jack of Clubs, which is the creativity of the mind card. But this Five of Clubs here is indicating some sort of change of the mind, some sort of restlessness in the mind. Fives are move out of the stability of the four in numerology and into kind of this restless instability feeling of the five. It can mean that what's going on for you in this month, December, is potentially an internal change of philosophy. And when we have internal changes, sometimes that is reflected in the outside world. Now, whether or not that reflection comes as soon as December for you or if it comes later on, there's definitely this stirring underneath the surface, this restlessness, and this potential change of circumstances that could be going on for you because your internal picture, your internal perspectives are shifting. And we know that when the inside shifts, the external world shifts too. Now, this card does caution against going into the role of victim or victimhood as a result of these changes that you might be going through, navigating, experiencing in your outside world. And a way to combat that is to understand that as we change, so does our outside world. And changes may take some discomfort, some transition period of time, before you get to ultimately what you are wanting and what you are desiring. So do keep that in mind during this time. Now, also, you might have different perspectives in terms of even how you do the holidays this year. Maybe you don't want to do the big to do, the big shebang like you have years prior. Maybe your internal changes of thinking are around not wanting to be spending as much or not engaging in consumerism as much, right? So there's a lot of different ways as Five of Clubs, which is again, a change in the way we think, a change in our perspective could play out in this month of December. And now, because it's in the Pluto position, there could be an aspect of you that is resisting the changes because it is in the Pluto position. Pluto can sometimes bring about this resistance in us where we want to push back because there is some sort of discomfort with this. So that's a possibility that comes up for you. But the way to combat that, as I mentioned earlier, is to understand that as we are going through internal changes, so too is our outside environment going to be going through changes. And sometimes there is this adjustment, this kind of discomfort in the interim until we reach our desired outcome or our desired goal, or until our outside world really reflects those adjustments that have happened internally. So do keep that in mind. The affirmation for the Five of Clubs is I am challenged to change my philosophies, ideas, plans. And this is a major transition month for me and my thinking, in which I am expanding the view of the world and of myself. I am limitless possibilities. Ooh, that's a fun one to lean into. I am limitless possibilities. That's great. So, after overcoming kind of this restlessness, these change of ways of thinking, and by allowing those to occur without resisting, we end up with the Jack of Clubs here, and this is in the result position. Now, the Jack of Clubs is the card of creativity of the mind. And basically, as a result of this shift in thinking, you're going to have a lot of creative success in the mental field if you so choose to put your energy and attention in that direction. It's basically through this process of creativity. Potentially, this could be in writing if you're interested in that or if you're called to that. And you can really be actually transformed in a way through this creative process. You also could be learning and gaining new information and being exposed to new ways of thinking, um, and possibly also being exposed to new technologies. And those new technologies could kind of lead you to an unexplored area of knowledge. So lots of potential for growth in the mental areas and creative aspects of the mental world, of your mental world, are really possible here. So do lean into that if you are interested in expanding and exploring some of that. But it's, out of this restlessness, we're going to have kind of more creative and diverse ways of thinking, which can be and will be beneficial to you. This card's affirmation is I achieve success as a writer, or I have an idea or communication, and I revolutionize my thinking. So lots of adjustments, and could be coming in as a result of or a culmination of this entire year of 2025. A lot of people have shifted a lot of their ways of thinking, a lot of their perspectives throughout this year of 2025. It certainly hasn't been easy. 2025 has asked a lot of us. However, what we could be seeing as the fruits of that is really shifting and getting more in line with what we actually desire now that we're maybe seeing some of the outer world match up with our inner world and some of the shifts that we've made in 2025. And if it hasn't shown up yet, then it probably is going to be showing up in 2026. As we scoot up here now to the Four of Carrots, this is in what's called the environment position, meaning it's kind of like the flavor of the month. It's like the feel of the month, right? What your environment's going to be. And the Four of Hearts is stability in home. It's stability in relationships. It can represent a positive marriage. In fact, it does represent having good relationships in your marriage right now, good strong relationships at home. It literally is the card of home. 4, we have stability, like the foundation of a house, and hearts are of love and home, and also about women too. So you're going to have positive relationships with women during this month as an overarching kind of theme, but it's a beautiful card to have here, in the context of so many holidays going on in the month of December. So it's really beautiful when I saw this spread and I saw that the 4 of Hearts was the environment period. You know, I really saw that as a positive indication that overall the holiday season is going to be a positive experience for folks. I know that there certainly can be challenges that come up with family members, of course. Um, our closest people to us, which is often family, um, fulfill the fact that relationships in our lives are often mirrors to us. So sometimes they say the most challenging things for us to hear, and yet it can also lead to our greatest growth. Um, so there certainly can be challenges around family. However, this card is really showing up in a big way, saying that actually, home, friends, close relationship, family is really going to be going well this holiday season here. It's going to bring protection, it's going to bring blessings. And, alternatively, it actually can indicate that you might be moving to a new home during this holiday season. That is actually a possibility. Also, hearkened by this card down here, this 5 of Spades also mentions a possible outcome of moving to a new home, if not travel, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. Um, but basically, knowing what you want in your home and love life also can bring great blessings through this 4 of Hearts here. So do enjoy and lean into the positive aspects of home and family during this holiday season, if that is possible. Now we scoot over here and we've got the 2 of Diamonds and the 3 of Spades, and this is in what's called the Mercury position. Now, the Mercury position shows up as fast moving energy. It can come and go quickly. Now, as I mentioned before with this 2 over here, 2s are about a union. They are about coming together. And diamonds are about coming together of values, business, money. And so the 2 of Diamonds here indicates that there could be a business partnership that comes together rather quickly here in the month of December. It could be kind of unexpected. It also could be quite fleeting. This card could also indicate actually some sort of a partnership or financial arrangement or agreement with a brother or a sister potentially during this um, time. Again, it's going to be short lasting. This can also indicate that there's a quick investment made and also quick returns with that investment. So that's also possible, but there's something kind of unexpected coming together here as related to business, money, some sort of a partnership, meeting, communication around that. Also, supported by that 2 of Clubs up here too. And in- this also could indicate that there's a short business trip as well. So possibility for travel as well related to this, kind of unexpected business connection here. Now, 3 in Spades we have below that, and this is the known as the artist card. Threes are about creativity and about diversity. Um, so on the high side, you could be having some creative business ideas. Maybe that is somehow related to this business partnership that comes together quickly. There is this variety going on here. 3 of Spades also indicates that you could be working more than one job at once. Maybe you're working more than one project at once. Um, Definitely possibility for you to be coming up with creative and new ideas. And this can also lend itself well for you to have these ideas in planning for the future as well in terms of business. Now, on the low side of this card here, the low side of threes is indecision, and indecision can often lead to worry. So do watch out for that during this time. It could be indecision that leads you to question perhaps this partnership, or could lead you just feeling kind of scattered and split during this time. So you might feel like you're split between 2 decisions or 2 routes. Um, so that could be potentially coming up for you with this 3 of Spades down here. Now, Four of Spades and Seven of Spades is here in what's called the Venus period. And this often relates to women in our lives, as well as our love, home life, and romantic relationships. Fours are very stabilizing. We've got these solid three fours here, actually, which is providing us a lot of stability in this reading, which is really great, actually. The Four of Spades can indicate that there's success in both work and in love. The Four of Spades is literally the work card and stability in work. So it indicates that there could be success is found in terms of work, but also in relationships because it is in this Venus period. Saying you're going to have contentment at home. You're going to be value being with people that are emotionally and mentally compatible with you and also stimulating for you. And in general, you're going to have a lot of satisfaction with the women in your life. If any issues come up, which there are potential for health issues with this Seven of Spades, those are going to be buffered by this Four of Stability. In fact, the Four of Spades here is indicating that if any issues or illnesses come up, they're actually going to be resolved or going to be overcome by higher levels of love and also by prosperity. So you're going to be protected with this Four of Spades, even though below it, we have this Seven of Spades. And in this period, it can indicate that there is a potential for illness related to too much partying, related to women in your life, possible family members, close friends. Something related to that could cause an issue for you. So do mind yourself in terms of how much you're consuming, um, alcohol, drug wise, etc. during this month of December. I know it is the holidays, so there is a lot of that going around, but you are cautioned here with that. And also over here, you're also cautioned with that with the Five of Spades, also indicates you could have some rose colored glasses and needing to be cautious of consuming substances as they could further muddle the waters and make things a little bit more confusing as Neptune can kind of have this air of deception. But you've got two cards that are warring against that. So just bringing that to your attention, do what you will with that information. The Seven of Spades here is indicating that really your inner attitudes, your inner beliefs are going to be the root of kind of any challenges you have here. So this card is asking you to examine your fears, especially around getting enough affection, and practice of letting others be as they are, and that's going to kind of help you overcome these more challenging personal beliefs that you have. So that's also kind of like an aspect of acceptance and of others and how they are, especially around family members during this holiday time, understanding that everybody is on their own path. They're choosing their own life, and we progress and develop at different stages at different times in our lives. And just because there are family members doesn't mean that we all have to do things the same way. So kind of letting people live as they are is highlighted in this Seven of Spades here in Venus. Next, we scoot over to the Queen of Clubs and the Four of Diamonds. Now, the Queen of Clubs represents a very quick-witted, kind of can be intense female who is highly intelligent, maybe is displaying some masculine features. That's because this Queen of Clubs is in what's called the Mars period. And our Mars position here is related to often men in our lives. There's an action-oriented nature to it, can be on the lower sides an aggression nature to it. If you are displaying any of these attributes, such as intelligent, quick-witted, maybe some masculine traits as a female, just be mindful not to um, have interactions that result in potential resentment or um, create some sort of animosity to others. Be aware that that is how you may be received during this month of December. So just be aware of that. You don't need to change who you are, but just be mindful that that is how it might be received to some other people. The other aspect of this that there, for men, you could, or people, women also who are interested in women, you actually might have some attraction to a woman who is displaying these behaviors during the month of December. That's also a possibility here. Below that, we have the Four of Diamonds. It's actually a very powerful card. It can indicate that you have an enormous amount of ability to actually make money this month of December. And the pursuit of money can bring you, your goals, and can bring some significant returns. Also related to legal issues, if you have anything like that going on, this card indicates you're going to have satisfaction with legal issues as well as tax issues. So potentially it's the last month of the year, at least in the US, it could indicate that you are finally paying it back or have made clear on any debts that you owe to the government or anything related to taxes this year. The Four of Diamonds also indicates that you could overcome any sort of ill influences. So, again, fours are pretty protective. They're stabilizing influences. This card, though, does indicate the potential, although you have enormous abilities to earn a lot of money, it does indicate that you might have to, work hard to earn that money. It does encourage you to actually make a list of your desires and to get to work on that and pursue it. And, you can achieve a lot. It is an underlying card here. So you could read it as interpreting it as if you are a queen of clubs yourself or are a woman of the clubs suit. That means that you are represented as the queen of clubs. That's your personality card. Not to get too nuanced here, but it could very much indicate, because the queen of clubs is also the card of intuition. So it could indicate that follow your intuition here. And as a result of following your intuition, you actually could have a lot of financial success. So do keep that in mind this month of December. As we scoot over here, we have the Eight of Clubs. Underneath, we've got the Ace of Hearts. And this is what's in the Jupiter position. Jupiter positions bring blessings and is often related to finances and money. We've got eight, which is a strength card here in this position. And it's a strength around the mind, the mental fields. In fact, it's a card that's called the power of the mind. So this can be harnessed, the power of your mind this month, for business and money success. Basically, your mental gifts are going to bring you a lot of benefits this month of December if you decide to apply those. So, if you apply basically any education or knowledge that you have, you really can have a lot of success with large groups of people, whether that be you're teaching people, you're attending a lot of meetings, group settings, whatever that may be. You really can have a lot of success. Now, this is especially the case if you are a business owner, but even if you're not a business owner, the Eight of Clubs here says that even at a job where you're employed, you could earn a promotion. So we also could be looking here at holiday bonuses coming through, that sort of thing too. Now we have the Ace of Hearts. And the Ace of Hearts is this desire or feeling of wanting to um, obtain money, but for purposes that is a selfless act. There's this humanitarian nature of the Ace of Hearts in Jupiter, people wanting to give selflessly, people wanting, and when we're thinking about the holiday season too, it might be that you're making donations. It might be that you are volunteering at a soup kitchen or a shelter or, is something else, spending your time really wanting to give again, unselfishly, really unconditionally, and give to others is really highlighted. Um, there's this spiritual kind of ideal in your heart and what you really desire, and that you're feeling like you really want to fulfill during this month of December. This also could mean that you actually receive a letter or some form of communication about this desire for money to pursue something unselfishly, or um, about this spiritual purpose or humanitarian effort that you're wanting to engage in, that is also a possibility here too. It also means that any relationships initiated during this month are actually really positive, really blessed. And now these are relationships, could be business, that could be friendships, it could be spiritual, romantic, sorts of relationships actually started during this time are getting off to a good start. And so you have a good potential for future with those relationships started in December. As we scoot over, we have the King of Diamonds and the Nine of Clubs. Now, these are in what's called the Saturn position. Now, Saturn in general can kind of represent the tasks and things we need to do in third dimension, in the material world, you know, life-based real tasks that need to be accomplished and completed. It also can represent males in our lives that are usually older, father figures in some sort of way. Doesn't mean it has to be your father, but they're usually older males in your life that in some way kind of represent that fatherly type figure. Um, this card, the King of Diamonds here is indicating that actual money can be made during this period of time, but you might feel like you don't actually want to put in the effort. You might feel it's not worth it to actually obtain that. The financial success during this month. So that might be something you're toying with. Clearly, the cards are indicating that there's a lot of potential for success business wise, but it'll be up to you about, do you dedicate and put the effort in to achieve that success or not? And, there's no right or wrong answer to that. Each of you have to tune into yourself and understand what's best for you. This is particularly the truth if you own your own business, or applicable if you own your own business here. But it does talk about setting the foundation. So even if you're not actively pursuing, making money, it does encourage you to set the foundation, to set the groundwork. That will lead later on to more expansion, more success, and more prosperity. So um, it could also show up as like, this is a good time to make connections. Just like we've had these meeting kind of discussion type cards already. It could indicate this is a good time to set those frameworks and groundwork now for potential relationships in the future that might be fruitful. So that's a possibility here as well. Below that, we have the Nine of Clubs. Now, the Nine of Clubs is an ending of a way of thinking in some way, shape, or form. It can show up as frustration, it can show up as worry, and those things could negatively affect your health picture. So that's something to be aware of. Basically, this card indicates that the root of your issues, as we discussed over here with that seven, is related to negative ways of thinking, either about yourself or about others. So, maybe that's a barrier for you moving forward or success in business. And if so, you need to work on what is your limiting belief around that. Why are you thinking negatively, either about yourself? Maybe imposter syndrome's coming up, maybe something else is coming to the surface here, or you're thinking negatively about others in some sort of way that's creating a block for you. And so this is really a healing opportunity, a healing potential here, because if you're able to take responsibility for your ways of thinking, your belief and mindset, and you're able to alter those attitudes and beliefs, you really can open yourself up to more success because you're actually addressing what the root problem is. The Nine of Clubs here also can indicate like a community, like groups coming together. Selfless service again is coming up, echoing this ace of shirts here. So this desire to help others is coming up for you as well. And nines are endings in some way. So there could be an ending that you're going through in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the ending is that negative way of thinking and believing, which would be great. Although it might be challenging to let that thought process go because it is in Saturn, which can come up as lessons or challenges for us. Ultimately, letting the non beneficial thought patterns you have, addressing those and releasing those, even setting the intention to release those, can lead to really an expanded view of yourself and of the world. So it's going to be very beneficial to you. And again, I'm reading this with that King of Diamonds here. To me, it's looking like those negative thought patterns are somehow related to your ability or your desire to be successful in business and financially during this month of December. And potentially that's been your issue for a little while now, and you're resolving it here in this month of December. As we scoot over here, we have the Seven of Diamonds and the Six of Hearts. Now, the Seven of Diamonds in this Uranus period, which Uranus is a period of unexpected, a period of surprises. This could be an unexpected loss of money, actually. It could be related to real estate. It could be something related to labor or employees. There's something that could leave you a little bit concerned or worried about money. Seven of Diamonds, though, seven's a highly spiritual number. And this card is encouraging us to lean into understanding that ultimately the universe wants us to be abundant, wants us to have all of our needs met. The reality is that we are safe, we are cared for the most part, many of us are. And, that the universe never has any malintent towards us, that, challenges in our life that show up are either a result of our own actions karmically, lessons we need to learn so that we ultimately can expand and grow in some ways, and or there are a lot of, some unfortunate events that are a result of other people's maybe decisions. Because we do have free will, in this realm that we're living. So, or it could be natural disasters, that sort of thing. Outside of that, um, it's really understanding that prosperity is possible, abundance is possible. And having gratitude for also what you do have will ultimately help attract more of that to you. The Seven of Diamonds in this position is also a really positive influence for any spiritual study, any classes. This is a great month to take some classes spiritually, to get more involved spiritually in one way, shape, or form, learn more things. It's really supported in this position. Underneath that, we have the Six of Hearts. It's again a very humanitarian feeling card. It's saying you're going to have success in humanitarian type efforts. So we're really, these three bottom cards here are really supporting this, and giving, this idea of giving to others is important. Selfless acts is really important. Humanitarian acts are really important this month of December. So encourage everyone to engage in that. The sixes are also very stable influences. So it is encouraging basically steady progress, steady forward momentum on a certain progress, a project, or on goals you have, or a path that you're on. So continue this path in some way, shape, or form, but don't allow that steadiness to result or show up as stubbornness or inflexibility. Those are different. So just be mindful of that. From the Six of Hearts, it does indicate that compromises might need to be made. And, considering that, again, this is a holiday season for many people, that there is time spent with family, just understanding that some compromises may need to be made in order to keep the peace. And it's indicating that that's probably worth it. Also, the Six of Hearts here in this position can indicate that if you pay attention, if you tune in to your innermost kind of thoughts and world during this month of December, you could get more connected to your actual purpose and destiny in this life. So, um, that's important to tune into during this month of December. And also, you could get information related to that as relates to like work that you're doing or being around your family and friends. So, there's something about that that maybe gives you some more information, more guidance, more insights about your divine path and purpose in some way, shape, or form. Next, we go over to the Neptune position here, and we have the Five of Spades and the King of Hearts. And we've already mentioned, watch out for some deception here, because Neptune can kind of be like we see things with rose colored glasses. Like we don't see things totally clearly, when they're a little bit obscured, or there could be a little bit of deception going on or a little bit of confusion. Now, five of spades, can- in general, can indicate a change in location. It can indicate a change in work or occupation. It's showing up here indicates that there could be some travel, which again kind of makes sense considering the holiday season and people traveling to see family for the holidays. So that, is kind of in line here with how the holiday season traditionally goes. But it also can indicate a change in a business, and it can indicate change at home again, hearkened by that four of hearts, which indicates there could be a change or selling of a house or residence. As I mentioned before, be cautioned around drugs and alcohol during this time. It just enhances the already potential for confusion during this time. And also be mindful not to get involved with some sort of pie in the sky scheme. This card cautions from that. So you've got these business potential partnerships and meetings going on here. Just tune in, listen to your intuition here about what deals and partnerships you form, making sure that you're kind of not getting involved with this pie in, the sky kind of scheme here going on. Below that, we've got the King of Hearts, and the King of Hearts is really a card about saying that you're going to have charm, you're going to be magnetic socially. It's kind of at an all-time high. Use love and use heart-based kind of interactions, and those are really going to lead to success, both professionally and personally as well. But socially and romantically, any travel will also be supported by this King of Hearts. And lastly, the interpretation of the King of Hearts in this position could be that your healing abilities, if you are a healer, can really be amplified during this month of December. So, potentially you're doing some healing work with your family members during the holidays or something like that. And that gives you kind of more direction and insight into what your purpose really is. And maybe you're meant to be doing more of that type of work in an ongoing way, related to your purpose of being here. So, all in all, we've got quite the month in December to wrap up this very wild year of 2025. Definitely one that's unprecedented. And we're just going to be continuing into 2026 with these unprecedented experiences. But, with this three AI comet that's been coming closer to the earth over these past many months, we definitely are having these changes in our perceptions, ways of thinking, or at least there's the possibility there as we get those energies coming towards us, that are happening on the planet in general. So lots of changes are occurring. And again, if those changes inside you have not shown up again in your outside world, we'll see what unfolds in 2026 because I do expect that those internal changes are going to be reflected in your outside environment if they haven't been already by this month of December. Enjoy the holidays. Those of you who are celebrating holidays during this December month, make sure to understand that sometimes compromises are necessary, as the Six of Hearts is reminding us about in order to keep the peace at home. But also, you're going to have a lot of really great dynamic conversations and sharing of the mind that also can really lead to some really creative thinking ideas, that you may want to write down and set some foundation for the future here, especially if you're your own business owner. Write those ideas down, start laying the foundation, unless you are ready to get into making some big money this month. Because if you are, you really are supported with that. This is a possibility. I know there's a lot to manage when there's the holidays and the family time, but if you're able to manage both, you also really have the success, for some financial growth here as well in December 2025. So thanks so much for being here with me. If you're interested in a personalized reading, feel free to reach out. Book one on my website. Depending on the day that you were born, you have playing cards that literally describe a lot about your personality, about the specific challenges you're meant to overcome in this life, the areas where you have gifts, natural gifts and abilities that you came in to this lifetime with, It also has clarity and in terms of what your purpose is, what your destiny is. There's so much information that is specialized to you. Literally every 52-day period of your life has playing cards, like your own specialized reading basically is laid out in the cards for you. So that term, it's in the cards, literally comes from this system because we have already mapped out based on the day you were born cards for every 52-day period of your entire life. So if you want to know when you're supposed to be getting married, if you want to know when the best time is to sell the house or when you're going to sell the house or change jobs or whatever it might be, it's in the cards. So, anyways, feel free to book a session with me and I can tell you what's in your cards. Otherwise, thanks so much for being here and I'll see you here next time.